Hey everyone, I am back with the plays of the day. I did take a trade today. It was different from what I normally do. I just was testing the waters. It was later in the day when I was able to be at my desk. I was not able to be at my desk for any of these plays besides the one trade I took, which I will show you in a little bit. Excuse me. Let's just get right into the play of the day. The first one up is Crowd CRWD. I like this a lot. The idea behind it was the daily RBNR. We had this key level that coincided with the RBNR at 285.3, targeting the 289.24 area. Could be good for a swing as well. It happened within the first 5 minutes, as you can see, on decent volume. So it actually happened in the first minute. We had extreme volume here. It was a decent amount of volume here. And just to check out what ES was doing, we had a doji candle here on the first minute, so clear relative strength. We ripped up, which was nice. It would have taken it as soon as we broke this key level and scaled immediately as soon as we got a push up. My stop loss would have been below the key level, even if it just broke below. The rule in the first 5 minutes, in my opinion, or in my eyes, is it's gotta go or get out. So go or get out. Basically, what I mean by that is if it didn't jump like this and it just failed, I would have gotten out for whatever loss is. This is the exact kind of thing you want to see. A nice $2, $3, $4 move. Immediately, would have been nice. So it would have been, maybe 40 cents on the contract here, which is beautiful. I'll take that every day of the week. And so that would have been good. I would have obviously liked to see it get to the target, but that's where scaling out comes in handy. If I was playing one contract, you'd scale out immediately as soon as we get a nice push of $1 or $2. And then on the first sign of weakness, for example, failing this 1 minute RBNR would have been weak, or would have been a good sign to get out. But again, I don't really trade on the 1 minute time frame. I trade on the 5 minutes, so I would have just looked at the 5 minute time frame. Where did I just lost? I hate when Thinkorswim glitches like this. It just like flips out randomly. So I probably would have gotten out as soon as I saw some red on this candle or this giant wick candle close, but probably not. Probably would have gotten out sooner. All right. Anyway, that was the play on Crowd. A little bit risky, but definitely good thesis behind it to back it up. All right, next one I had was Twitter. Twitter, I just wanted to go over. So the play was this 4-hour RBNR. Oops, that was 3 hours. 4-hour RBNR, as you can see here. Almost coincided with the key level, but not quite. So when that happens, I don't really like to take the key level. The RBNR break, just because it's a little less quality, a little less chance to work out, simply because the key level breaks provide the true power. So that's why I would not have taken this. Look at the volume; it's absolutely dead compared to any of that. So that's one reason. If we got a 5 minute RBNR here, I would have taken this, just because that would have been provided confirmation. On the micro scale. We did not get it, so obviously would have rejected that. And if I would have liked this to see get a little bit closer to the 67.45, what I mean by that is if this level, or if we saw price push past this 4-hour RBNR confirmation with volume and momentum, I would have gotten in, sure, and I would have gotten in right around the 67.35, 67.4, anticipating the break of this level, which is exactly what happened we saw here. At 67.45 later in the day, we saw volume come in for I don't really know why. I'm sure you could find out, but we saw volume spike immediately, super quick reaction. I would have taken it on the break of 67.45 simply because we had volume and momentum. There's really no reason with a tight stop. I mean, RR was skewed, so in that case, would have had to go down to a 1 minute time frame, just especially to see the VVM. This is probably maybe one of the only examples that I would use a 1 minute time frame. I really like using 5 minute, but I don't know. Wasn't here, so I really can't speak to how I would have traded this that well. But I would have liked to think that I probably would have gotten in here, maybe would have gotten stopped out, and probably, I would have probably got. I mean, another re-entry would have been here, retest, and then get out on the first push, but. My gut's telling me I probably wouldn't have taken this trade just because this is a super overextended move. Really, really risky. I mean, look at this. We moved literally $2 in the span of, 5 minutes. So probably wouldn't have taken this trade anyway, but just interesting to note. Okay, next one I had was coin. This was just an interesting note that I wanted to make. I wanted to review this simply because I was confused on this entry. Play triggered in the first 5 minutes. However, you're thinking, all right, well, what about a 1 minute time frame? The reason why I would not have taken this is because look where we open. We open literally like right below the level, and it's not enough reaction, not enough strength to really get an idea. If, as soon as I see some, it's very possible. You could have taken as soon as we ripped above within the first 5 seconds of the market and scale out immediately on this push. It's definitely possible. So, and as soon as I see it not going my way, let's say I get below 308, I get out. So that's one way to play it. So get in quick and get out quick, or get in, get out. Yeah, so that would have been an idea. Another way to play this is at this 5 minute entry where we see VVM kind of picking up here. This is my rocket ship technique for those that DM me about this. My rocket ship technique was perfect here. It's literally just an RBNR on a really micro level, micro scale. It's basically a retest, so it shows that the immediate buyer is ready to fuel price higher, which is exactly what happened here. So we have our initial rocket ship. Rocket ship runs out of fuel here, dips back down for a little bit at the gas station, needs some fuel, and then we explode. This is literally a textbook setup here on the rocket ship technique that I like to use. Retest of the level, or even right before the level, to gain more orders. And yeah, so this is beautiful. VVM came in right as we broke. Just to look at it at a 1 minute time frame. Again, I don't normally trade on a 1 minute time frame. Might have to start looking at it in a here in this market, but you can see that VVM started coming in. Could have gotten in above high of day, or as soon as you see volume increase, for example, in this 941 candle, it would have been a good idea to get in. The risk reward is kind of skewed simply because we would have been proved wrong below this 307 level. So I would have liked to say that as soon as we see buyers dip back up, that's why it's so important to see price develop in real time, because you could see that this wick developed and buyers immediately bought it back up above this 307 level. You could see that it acted as resistance here twice, support here, and beautiful. We take off, and it's just a beautiful move that you would have gotten paid immediately, which is where the best plays happen. So another really cool setup that I, would have liked to capitalize on. I just didn't really have a good understanding at the time. I said, I don't know where to get in. The play already triggered. Did it? Well, no, because price couldn't hold value above the 307 level. Could I have gotten in on this first minute? Sure. I would have been looking at CRWD instead, just because it was a higher probability setup. And I think there was also a 4-hour RBNR here on coin. Yep. Yeah. Which was also further confirmation to get in. So either one, crowd would have worked out. Coin maybe not so much, but could have entered here, and also Bitcoin was rallying to all-time highs. Bitcoin the crypto ETF or whatever just came out. I'm blanking right now. I've been studying for midterms all week and have one tomorrow, so I apologize. My brain is kind of mushy at this point. But yeah, rocket ship technique, this is beautiful. VVM came in and boom, we took off and would have scaled accordingly. I think the next play that I would have taken was CAT. CAT. And this is another important lesson that I've been learning. Entry would have been 201.8. So let's just change that for now. Remember that 201.38 number in just a minute. I'll explain why. I was wondering, okay, where am I going to get in? Actually, no, I'll just draw it just, with this. Oops, you know what? We'll do it like this real quick. So just so you have a reference here. All right, so this green line represents 207.38. And I was thinking, all right, where am I going to get in? I easily, I would have gotten stopped out here. I would have gotten stopped out, price would have gone above, I would have bought it, would have looked good, and then immediately rejected, and I would have stopped out for, a 30% loss on the contracts, which would have been really bad. So I said, well, how do I avoid that? Well, the first answer is if I were to get in on the entry. Let's say the key level was 201.37, 338. First lesson, there is absolutely zero volume on this name, and that's just already a huge red flag. If there's no volume, VVM, Really, big red flag. And there still really was, low volume and, but we did have the volatility and momentum on this. We just really didn't have the volume to go behind it. However, I took a look, stepped back, and said, wait a second, are you sure it's 201.38? I think it was there like an RBNR somewhere? Oops, let me get this to a clear, let me do a clear drawing set so you guys can see it a little bit clearer. Yeah, so there was a 4-hour RBNR, which would have been above 201.37, 38 area. Yeah, 201.38. But again, goes back to my rule is if there is a key level above the 4-hour RBNR, I would rather take it at the quality setup at 201.8, which is right here. 201.8, which is right about here. Let me just adjust that real quick. 201.8 was the key level that I was looking at and where I would have taken the trade at. So this would have been a beautiful, beautiful trade if I was around to trade. I was not, but another beautiful setup. Looks like there's trades every day. Anyway, you can see that price is slowly, volume is increasing. Obviously, I would have liked to see a spike a lot higher, but if you want to look down on a 1-minute chart, you can see that price was jumping pretty nicely. Don't really like to see it stalling out at this key level, but you can see that volume was extremely nice here at this 202 break. Complete buying pressure, would have scaled out at, I believe the target was 202.6 or something. There was supply weight. I think I have it written down. Where was it? Okay, my price target was 203.41, sorry, which it would have hit. Would have scaled out accordingly. It would have been another beautiful, beautiful trade. So another good setup. Yeah, so those are what I wanted to review. So all the setups that I, had A+ setups on, or, just setups on in general, worked out. And that's why it's extremely important to be selective with your plays, and only taking high quality setups. I used to be charting about like 8, 10, 12 setups and said, all right, there's a play on this, there's a play on this. And then I said, there's got to be a better way to do this. So, I talked with Dylan a little bit, and I said, how do I do this? And he said, just be very selective. And that's kind of what I did. I looked for many confirmations, looked for, RBNRs, patterns, key levels, all to line up with each other to create these nice explosive moves. And then going into the trade that I did take, it was on ES or SPY contracts. You can see that currently we have an inverse head and shoulders going on right now. So we'll see how it plays out overnight. We really do need a pullback. I do have one last contract writing. I've been in since 43, right around the 4,400 area. So, but I had, contracts that were way out of them, or way far. So it didn't make a huge return, but it was, decent on the swing play, and averaged in accordingly. That's irrelevant. I do have one contract that I'm waiting for to break all-time high, and that's where I'll scale out, and as my final target. All right, let's get to the day trade though. So yeah, I'm waiting for this inverse head and shoulders to work out. Hopefully we'll, get a nice break above. But if this fails, we'll see some selling pressure come in. All right, so I apologize for the messiness, but this will just help me easier explain what I was looking at. I think it might be easier if I do it on this time frame. With VWAP. So, I was looking at this. So I had 3 hour. So it's not one of my normal trades of a key level break, but I was just thinking, there's got to be something here. It just looked too good for me not to take it, and I said, all right, I'll take a contract that expires next week. So low risk, low reward, of course, and let's just see how it plays out. So I did. Took one contract just to, play around with it, toy a little bit. And here's what happened. So I saw that we were kind of stalling around in this 1 hour demand or supply zone. I saw that NQ was weak and we were coming into this 3 hour demand zone. So I said, all right, if we can come into this demand zone and ES can get somewhat of a bullish setup, I'll take the trade, which is kind of what happened here. We broke below, we sold off a little bit. That was just to gain liquidity, gain more orders to the push higher, as you can see. We had this huge spike in volume right at 120, a very random time. We had this nice lower wick here on this buying pressure. NQ is also doing the same thing, and I was really hoping to see, NQ just leave the demand zone, the 3-hour demand zone, and I took ES over NQ simply because ES is stronger. So know that the move would have paid more on ES, even though it paid next to nothing. It was just the idea of the trade. So then I saw this, all right, I need to hold above VWAP. I waited a little bit. I really wanted to see, gaining volume or momentum, which really didn't happen. And that's why I took next week's contract. Again, maybe not the highest quality of trade in some of your eyes, but in my eyes, I said, why not? If it's low risk, low reward, why not, right? We took I was literally risking maybe 1%, 2% of a contract. It was next to nothing. So I took this 5-minute RBNR. I really wasn't worried about this supply zone. And again, it was a 5-minute supply zone. It was really, really clean, so maybe I should have been a little bit worried, but I was really worried about this supply zone, which was my original target. Right about this, it was actually the 15-minute supply zone at 4528.75, so that was my target. So I bought in at this 5-minute RBNR. We were decreasing the volume, just kind of hanging around here, so I knew that some kind of move was going to happen sooner or later, and boom, we got our momentum here. And I didn't get chopped out again because I had next week's contract, so theta was really not a factor. NQ was still holding value in the demand zone and pushed, and I was like, all right, we need to move by buyers soon, which is exactly what happened. I got to push up, and I was literally, what was that, 0.5 away, so 2 ticks away from my target, which was really unfortunate, but I said, all right, I'm going to stay in the trade. I just got to stick to my plan. It would have sucked if I stopped out for break even, knowing that I was only 0.5 away, but it is what it is. Just got to stick to the plan. And I looked at the time and I said, oh my goodness, I've been in this trade for over an hour and I really have to study for my midterm. And I said, all right, we failed this 5-minute RBNR, and we double topped and we're in supply, kind of. We're, making this downwards trend line. I said, all right, you know what? I really got to study. And I got to get out of this trade just so I can go study. Otherwise, I would have just left this trade and would have set a limit order and just monitored, obviously monitored for break-even trade. So I got out with next to no profit, of course. But we did end up hitting the target perfectly. It was beautiful. Right on this candle, would have hit it perfectly and would have gotten out for, double the profit that I did get. But I'm not worried about the profit at all. I just wanted to see if this trade would have reacted well. So, which it did. And it played out, worked out perfectly. And and you can see that NQ followed through as well. And now we're just reacting again off the 3-hour demand zone. Again, we really need to see these buyers step in here. If we break below, I think we have some, we're open to selling pressure. But if these buyers defend, I think we're just going to gain liquidity to push past all-time high, especially on ES. All right, guys, sorry that this video was so long, but a lot of good stuff packed in this video. So hope you guys learned something, and thank you so much for watching.